2, I need to string this into the group. Oh my gosh, this lawnmower situation is so loud. Here, guys, how's everybody going? Anyone wants to share some wins? Love seeing the wins. Share some of your wins, and then we're gonna get started here. Go live button. Awesome. We are live. Okay. I gotta make sure I let people into the crew here. How's it going? Welcome. All right, so what we're talking about today, I'm gonna jump right into the content today. What we're gonna be talking about is number one, how to increase your rates and also your conversions with this one strategy. So I'm gonna be talking somewhat about like economics today. And I'm really just gonna be riffing on some stuff that I think is really interesting and really important for you guys. So I'm actually going to share my screen for a minute so I can find my Word document here. Of course, there's like a bajillion things open, right? Okay, so increasing our rates and our conversions. That's what we are talking about. So listen, here's the deal, you guys. Accounting and bookkeeping is a bit of a commodity. Can we agree with that, right? It's a bit of a commodity. It's something that people need. And why is this good? That's the number thing. Why is this good? That's actually a good thing, especially coming up in this current economic climate. I'm gonna actually do something really quick. I'm gonna get rid of all of these tabs so it's not so distracting. And let's just make this bigger. Okay, so it's a bit of a commodity, and it's good that people need it, right? Because we're in a climate right now where needs are going to be really important. And so if we think of like the hierarchy of needs, right? We think of what we need. Those are going to be the things that we focus on, especially when we're coming into economic situations where we're less willing to part with our money, right? Have you noticed on yourself that you're less willing to part with money than you were in 2020, 2021? You think a little more about it, right? So you notice this about yourself. And so I want you to think about your own behaviors, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I want you to think about your own behaviors and in how you spend money as they might apply to your ideal client, because your ideal client might be feeling some of the same ways as you, right? They're less willing to part with their money, unless of course it comes to things that they need, right? And so what are things that we need, right? We need shelter, we need water, we need food, right? So we have a hierarchy of needs that we need our sleep, right? So we first think about surviving. This is number one. We need to survive. So one of my big needs is coffee, right? I need coffee. In fact, I had an argument with my team the other day that coffee was more important than toilet paper. My theory on this was, listen, if I get into a jam here, I can jump in the shower and just wash myself off, right? I could just use that shower as a bidet. Like I can clean up in that shower, not to be gross or weird here, right? But guess what I can't do? I cannot go pick me some coffee beans if I don't have any coffee, right? And so coffee has got to be present in my house before toilet paper. Like if I am picking between the two, if I am on my last dollar, it's like if I could buy a bag of coffee or a thing of toilet paper, guess what? I'm going coffee. I really am. And so we all have areas where we place our needs, right? Yeah, so Gwen gets it. We all have areas where we place different things and we have a hierarchy of needs. Now, accounting and bookkeeping is actually a need. And why is this good for us? Right now, it's good for us because we're going into an economic recession, right? And we're already kind of feeling that. And so having a need-based business serves us well, right? It serves us. It's great. I love serving an industry that's a need-based business because I feel really, really confident that we're going to go into a recession. I'm going to be untouchable. I'm going to be fine. It's going to be great. I'm super confident about this. And I know recession right now is like a buzzword and everybody's talking about it, but listen, I actually really care about economics and I care about our industry. And so that's why I research these things. I'm not using these words as a buzzword to like try to sound smart. I want to teach you something here. And so be careful when you're looking at like recession proof your business. Like those people are using them as buzzwords. I'm actually going to teach you some strategies today to help you. And I'm not actually talking about recession proofing your business. I actually just want you to increase your rates and your conversions, right? But this is good stuff to know. So that being said, the fact that you have a business base that is need-based, and those of you who are serving this industry as well, you have a need-based business. This is great for you. Here's where it gets bad. If your business is something that's needed, it becomes a commodity, right? And commodities are things that we price shop for. Bummer, right? Bummer. So when we have something that we're selling that can be commoditized, where there's a lot of them, and so I can look around and say, well, why? I'm just going to look for another person who charges less, right? And have you guys experienced that? Have you got people on the phone where they're just price shopping? They're just like, well, I'm just looking to see what you charge because I'm talking to, you know, Becky down the block, right? And Becky says that she only charges $25 an hour. And it's like, cool. Well, you should go call Becky back and tell her that you're going to take her up on it because I ain't, right? So that being said, if we know that accounting and bookkeeping is a commodity and that especially during an economic time, it's great that it's a need-based business because everyone's going to need to file their taxes. Everybody's going to need, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I have a eyelash in my eyeball and it's driving me nuts here. Goodness gracious. Let me monitor my room. I got somebody else trying to get in also. There's so many things to take care of. How do I find it? Give me 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Participants. Okay, I got it in here. Okay, so that works in our favor, right? So there's parts of this that work in our favor, but we don't want to be commoditized. We don't want to be just something that people need, and so they price shop us. We want to be also something they want. So how do you make your offer something that's desirable? And that's what we're going to really talk about today. So the strategy is making your offer something that's desirable, something that people not just need, but they also want it. Does that make sense? So when you speak in terms of bookkeeping, right? So in terms of bookkeeping, right? Taxes, reconciliations, right? Accounts payable, receivables, right? These are all things that people need. They're just commodities, right? They need to get them done in order to what, right? To turn it in to their CPA, right? If you're a CPA, right, you know that. They need to get it done because they don't want to break any laws. They're scared. Right? And this is how you become commoditized. This is where the price shoppers come from. But if you turn it in to something they want, what's the first step? And so let's talk about you, right? Let's talk about you. What do you want? What is the outcome that you want for your business? And tell me in the comments, what do you want? What do you guys want? What is the best outcome of having a business for you? Financial freedom, freedom, freedom. Give me a couple more. To grow and support my family, right? Right, so freedom, success, retiring my husband so we can both be home with our daughter, right? And notice there's not a lot of specificity in those things, but you know, you have an idea of what that looks like. And so I'll tell you something, the highest level business owners, the business owners who really, really have their things together, who know exactly what they want, creating a legacy business, being able to help clients, support my family, have time for my family, comfortable livelihood, love it. They have a number of what that looks like, right? They know what the outcome of that would look like, right? And so I want to ask you, have you actually done the math on what that looks like for you? Have you gotten specific enough with your goals to say, this is when enough is enough. This is when I know that I will create that freedom, right? And so the smartest business owners in the world, they've already done this. They already have this number, right? And this is also important, you guys, because at some point, like, you have to have some sort of roadmap to get there. And if you just decide it's freedom, if you just decide it's that you want to support your family, well, what does that actually look like, right? And so we have to have a number in mind. We have to get more specific in the outcome and goal we want. And so that is the first thing that you think of, right? You think of, I have this desire to make more money. I want the freedom, right? And so I say this because I want you to think about how you feel and what emotions come up for you, right? So what comes up first, that's actually, that's what comes up first. That's what I meant to say here is what comes up first, it's emotion, right? Emotion comes up first. You think about your family, right? You guys said family, freedom, your daughter, husband. You guys notice that? You didn't go logic. You didn't have specific numbers. There was no specificity. And so when you're marketing your business, friends, are you thinking in terms of emotion? When you're putting your offer out there and connecting with your ideal client, are you connected with their emotional states? Let me know in the comments. Because the tactics of what you do are not going to connect with them emotionally. And this is our hierarchy of needs, right? This is a hierarchy of needs in business. When we want to connect with somebody and make our offer something that's not just needed, but also desired, we have to connect with them on an emotional level and speak to family, freedom, daughter, husband. Right? And here's the thing you all have, the ability to connect on an emotional level because you are them, right? We often separate ourselves from our ideal client thinking, well, they're here and I'm here, and so we're different. But the reality is that most humans are all the same. We all want the same things. Wouldn't you agree? At some level, we all want the same things. I started my business to be home with my kids, to be home with my boys, right? I want to, my husband has the ability right now to quit his job anytime he wants, and he knows that, right? It's just when he decides he wants to do it. He's not happy at his job, but he's got his reasons for hanging around a little longer, right? And so those are things I wanted for him, to be able to potentially retire my husband so he could follow a dream and not just be working in a place that he feels like he has to work. Don't get me wrong, he used to love his job. He doesn't any longer, right? but it was never about a specific dollar amount. It was never about, I never wrote down $10 million, right? And so is your offer something that's speaking to people from an emotional space? Is your marketing, is your content speaking to something, speaking to these emotional places, right? And then the next thing is logic. That's where we get specific, and we want specificity in the outcome. We need to understand, right? Because we can emotionally connect with you. We can emotionally buy from you, right? You all are here because you like me. And some of you like me enough that no matter what I sold you, you'd buy it. Is that true? Right? And that's not to say that from a place of being cocky, but it's coming from a place of you trust me so much on an emotional level because I've built such an emotional connection with you that I could probably say, hey, I have this thing for sale. It's like 97 bucks. Would you be interested in buying it? You're going to get to hang out with me. And, you know, I'm not really sure, but it's going to be great. So here it is. I guarantee there'd be some people who would opt in, barely knowing what it is. And I've seen this happen before, right? Because of the emotional relationship that I've built. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong people today, right? But in some cases, I have people in our audience who feel strongly enough that it's like, whatever Alyssa's selling, I'm buying. And so that is step one, right? This is called emotional response marketing, right? So oftentimes people come to me and they're like, what should I sell? What should I sell? I don't know what to sell these people. Help me make my offer. Help me make my offer, Alyssa. I need to come up with my offer. That's offer first thinking. And how can we shift this into market first thinking? Well, what do your people want? Right? I don't know what you should sell them. What do they want? What do they need? Right? What do they desire most? Market first thinking, not offer first thinking. I'm going to highlight this. This is very important. Here, I hate these little Zoom chat things. Okay. So before you start building out an offer, I want you to think about your market. Think about from up here, right? So I meant to elaborate on this. So logic, specificity. So what do they actually like specifically want in order to achieve these things, right? So this is the second tier, right? So we're sorry, we got to move backwards because I missed a step. So specificity. Do they want to make $1 million? Want to earn more money? So how much more money? How much money do they want? Want to save more money? You want to save more money? How much do they want to save? Right? More clients, more sales. How many more clients? How many more sales? How much less do they want to work? So we have to get into the logic, the specific outcomes, right? Okay, so notice this is about the market, right? This is not about your offer. This is about your market. So let's think about your market first. What do they want? Why do they want it? So market first thinking. What do they want? Why do they want it? How quickly do they need it? Then you begin to think about your offer. So your offer is second, friends. Your offer becomes the second piece of this. Once you have full clarity on your market and who you're serving, only then, by the way, you can get these answers by simply asking people, right? Go ask them. Yandra, perfect example. No accounting, you usually are at IRS problems. Every single one of those clients in that situation, go ask them, what do you truly want? Why did you start your business? What do you hope to gain from having a business? Who is your business for? Who does your business serve? Why do you want this? Why do you want to continue to grow this business? Right? How quickly do you want those results? Find out that information, because that information is really important. This is going to help you develop what should be part of your offer, right? Ask your people, right? Ask your clients, hey, I need to know this information. You guys are like, wow, you know us so well. It's just because I talk to you all the time. It's because I ask you questions, right? I find out. Well, I've also been working with you all for literally years and years, so it's very easy to speak to you, right? So not offer first thinking. And so now we want to talk about our offer, right? How can my skills solve these problems? How can my skills solve these problems? Here's the deal. As somebody who's an accountant and also a marketing expert, if you were to put me in a position where I had to come up and serve some specific market that needed to make more money, and you said, okay, you can only solve these problems in this room, you can only solve them with accounting solutions, and in this room, you can only solve them with marketing solutions, guess what? I would find ways of solving their problems with all of my skills, no matter what, right? So I'd take my accounting skills, I'd be like, okay, how can I help this client make more money with the skills I have? What skills do I have as an accountant that can help them do this, right? Because I'm only allowed to use those skills. And then if you put me in a room and you said, hey, Alyssa, you're only allowed to use your marketing skills to help these people over here make more money, right? And so I need you to think of the skills you have. So a lot of times people think of make more money or create more wealth or whatever it is. They think of it as, well, that's marketing, that's sales. Well, it's not really, right? Because there's a lot of ways that you can serve. You could serve your clients at an elevated level where you create an offer that people want because you make it desirable, because it's actually solving their real problems, right? And at the baseline of all of these things, by the way, you can't do any of it without this, right? I can't advise you on how you can make more money in your business unless I see a P&L. And in fact, you guys, can I tell you, more recently, I had a client where I asked to see their P&L, and I asked them to show me the month that they performed the best in their company. I said, I want to see the P&L where you performed the best. And then I want to see the P&L where you performed the worst. And you know what I did? I asked them where they were spending their money in their marketing lines those months. I asked them, who was on your team in these months? What were these team members doing in these months? Right? So you told me in this month, you were spending money on ads consistently, and then you also had a team member who their entire job was to do X, Y, and Z. And then in this month, your company's not performing well, you're not spending money on ads, and you no longer have that team member to support you in that specific area, right? And so now you're not investing, but you're also not seeing an ROI, and so you're not making as much money. Is that correct? Yeah. So what do you think you need to do? I guess I should probably go back to doing that. Huh? Yeah, looks like it, right? Just by looking at a P&L, I was able to show this person, listen, at one point you said your company was performing really well. Tell me what happened in those months. Do the thing that works. Do more of what works. Sometimes we forget that things are working in our company and we get lazy or we get lax or we forget that we were doing them, right? And then we're like, why am I not making more money? Right? So I was able to help this client do that from an accounting standpoint, but also for you guys, like, hear this lesson, do more of what worked. If there was a time in your company that things were performing really well and you were getting clients consistently, go back and take a look and say, what was I doing during that time? What was my team doing? Where was I spending money in marketing? Right? Have you gotten lazy? Right? Did you get a little lax around your efforts? It happens to all of us. Okay, so how can your skills solve these problems and take your offer from not just something that they need, but take it and elevate it to something that they actually truly desire, something that they want, right? Is this making sense? Is this good? Is this helpful? Okay. So how can my skills solve these problems? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Question number 2 is, what's the framework? The framework in which I should deliver these, right? Skills, solutions. So what's the steps, right? What are the steps that each person should go through in order to get those results? And who is in charge of facilitating these solutions and steps, right, of your framework? Right, so that's the next piece of this. So you know what they want. Now you know the skills that you have, right? Okay, these are all the skills I have. This is how I can help them get that outcome. All right, now I need to make sure that every single one of my clients goes through these. If you have a team, you're going to need to delegate out some of this stuff, right? So onboarding, what does onboarding look like, right? Is it mostly automated? Who's in charge of making sure the automation triggered, right? Do they need to set up a monthly call with you guys, right? What needs to happen? What are all the steps and who's in charge of it? So this is your team's playbook, right? Okay, so next piece of this, I have the key to making a lot of money, right? You want to make a lot of money. A lot of you guys want to be rich, right? We want to make a lot of money. We want to be rich. All of us. We want to feel financially secure. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You have to make sure that you're in a market that is growing and expanding, and you have to grow with it. So find out, am I in an expanding market? Am I growing with it? If your market is currently contracting, you need to know that. It's very easy Google searches, by the way. Is my market expanding or is it contracting? For example, if you told me that you were going to focus on, I don't know, I can't think of a piece of technology. It's like I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. I can't think of a good example. So say you're going to focus on a specific market and there's trends showing that that market is on a decline, right? That's something you should be concerned about, friends. You should know this information. It's your job to understand this information, right? And this is easy information that can be found. For example, the real estate market right now is currently contracting, right? Home builders, currently, the market is contracting. Just a heads up. They're a little nervous about what's going to happen because the real estate market is currently contracting. So pay attention to that, right? You should know these trends because you may need to pivot. And that's for now, not forever, right? Just pay attention to the fact, am I in a contracting market? Now, you might get really good at building an offer, not only that people want, but also they need, right? They need it because it is something your accountants, your bookkeepers, your money people, right? And so you have this offer that you know that they need because they need to stay in compliance. They need this stuff done for their CPA, their tax pro, right? They need these solutions in order to feel peace of mind so they don't feel stressed out that they're going to go to jail any minute, right? But there's also another element of now you've figured out a way to make your offer something that they desire because you're speaking to the more emotional aspects of it, right? You're solving the real problem that they have, right? And so you want to go out and make a bunch of money. You want to become a millionaire. I want to talk about something very important. What happens to people who grow too fast? Karma happens, right? So often we want to have this fast-paced growth. We want to build an offer. We want to get it into as many people's hands as possible. But what I want to ask you is, while you are growing and expanding, is your client success path and journey growing with you? Or is it declining? The problem that I had. In 2020, we were growing rapidly. We had some rapid expansion. And I built a program to serve more people, right? Because we were doing a lot of hand holding and a lot of more high touch stuff in smaller containers. Well, in order to serve more people, I built a program in a different way. And in order to serve more, right? And when we did that, what happened is our client success rate dropped. I paid attention to this though, and I quickly pivoted, right? And so as you are growing your business, it's not only important that you focus on client acquisition, you also need to focus on client success. Are my people getting the results they want, desire, and that I promised them? Right? Here's the thing, when you grow too fast, what you sell has to support the whole, right? What you sell has to support the whole. It has to support everybody. It has to support your company financially, but it also actually has to support the people. And this is actually what we call product-based marketing or product-based sales. This is when your product begins to sell itself. When your product is so damn good that it becomes something that sells itself. that you no longer need to be the best marketer in the world because you care so much about your clients that your clients are screaming from the rooftop. I love this product or offer. Right? Makes sense? And so it not just raising your rates, to circle back, raising your rates, raising your conversions, your sales conversions, is not something that's going to happen overnight. I am sorry to tell you that. What it's going to happen with is when you take these strategies that I talked about, when you build your offer based on your market and making it something that they actually want and desire based on their emotional needs, their emotional states, their emotional hierarchy, right? When you make that your marketing message, number one, but then you're actually successfully fulfilling that, guess what? Your product becomes something that's so good that people are talking about. You have higher levels of retention, and also you have a higher demand. And so your conversions go up and your rates go up. Does this make sense? Good stuff today? So you want to raise your rates, if you want to raise your conversions, your sales conversions, number one, do what you say you're going to do. It is not that hard. Right? And when you are stuck, when you are struggling and you're like, Alyssa, but I don't know if I'm doing what I should be doing, you get yourself a mentor. You work with a mentor who focuses on actually delivering the services that they say they're going to deliver. Right? And somebody who believes in this stuff. Right? And so that's the first thing. You can get yourself a mentor. Say, I just want to be confident in what I'm giving to my people. I want to know that I'm getting them success. Second thing is talk to your people. Talk to them. Ask them, are you happy? What can we do better to serve you? Right? How can we serve you better? How has your experience been so far? How can we improve this for you? Just remove this little thing here. To that. Share these notes with you guys. You guys want these notes? So last thing I want to say about all of this is we are in a time right now, friends. We are in a time where we are going into an economic space where you are not going to be able to bullshit people. You're not. And that is simply because we are less willing to part with our money as easily. Right? This is just economics. That's okay. It's nothing to be scared about, right? I'm not scared. You shouldn't be scared. We're not scared, but we need to know that. So number one, we can have the correct marketing message. Number two, we could double down on the marketing message that we have. Number three, we can build a reputation of success, of client success, so people consistently keep talking about us in a way that's positive, right? And when we're doing that consistently, what happens is we're going to get to a point where we don't really have to sell our products anymore, right? The reality is in 2019 and 2020, you could very easily build a business. I talked about this on my boot camp call. Some of you are in boot camp, so you heard me talk about this already. Sorry, it's kind of repeating myself. But in 2019, 2020, you couldn't go anywhere with basically getting money thrown at you. It was very easy to grow a business. You could talk about your business for like 5 seconds and people be like, here's money, right? And that's because we had so much money being pumped into the economy during this time that it was very easy for us to part with it. We were more risk averse. We didn't care. Take the risk. Who cares? Hopefully it's good, right? Hopefully things great. Hopefully it works out. If not, oh well, no big deal, right? In 2022, we're seeing something different. In 2023, we're going to see something even more different, right? My predictions are that people are going to be less likely to part with their money quickly. They're going to want to think about it. They're going to do more research. They're going to want to pay attention to you for a little bit longer. They're going to want to build an emotional connection, right? And that's why we're talking about this today. They want to know that they can trust you. Bubbles, economic bubbles, are a good thing. The term bubble was created, I believe, in the 20s, 1920s. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I think it was the 1920s. I don't have my book right now with me. But the term bubble was created in the 1920s because it's basically this concept that something gets inflated with air and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but it really has no value, right? It's just a bubble. And eventually it's got to pop, it's got to burst. And so this is what's happening with our economy right now. Eventually this has to burst. And this applies not just to the overall, the whole economy, but it also applies to businesses that were allowed and able to inflate over time, right? They were inflated even if they had no real value, right? Our economy had so much money pumped into it and the value has been built up in a way that it really isn't stable. I mean, look at the amount of money we're paying for groceries. We know that our eggs are not worth that much money, right? And over time, we were paying for services, coaching potentially, that was not really worth that much money. And it was allowed to happen because we were more risk averse. Here's our money, who cares, right? So this is why the recession is good. This is why all of this is good, because what it's going to do is it's going to out the companies, not us, but them, right? It's going to out some of these companies who were built up in a way that were inflated by the economic, by those economic situations, right? How much money was pumped into the economy? These companies got built up, right? And so all of the companies that really shouldn't be valued at a high level are going to be swept away. And the companies that are really for client success, the companies who really are about their marketing message, who really do know business well, those are the ones that are going to stand out. So I urge you all, number one, you don't have to buy a damn thing from me ever, right? You can continue to hang out with me and show up on these calls, right? But I urge you all to continue to be consistent in your marketing efforts. I can urge you all to double down on this stuff as we go into this Q4 and into 2023. Whether you buy anything from me or not, if it's not me, hang out with somebody who understands this stuff, please. All right, good stuff today? Everybody got some value out of this? Awesome. Do me a favor, my only ask, my call to action today. Well, actually, I have 2 calls to action. What am I even thinking? I have 2 calls to action today. Notice I'm going to have 2 calls to action. Do you guys know what a call to action is? So when you ask the people that are paying attention, when you have everybody's attention, you ask them to do something, right? You give them a call to action. You let them know what the next steps are. So the next steps for you are, if you would like to come to our event and you cannot be there in person, we do have virtual tickets available. So I would love for you guys to grab one of those virtual tickets. They are only $97. We are asking everyone to contribute and pay for their ticket. The reason we're doing that is because it's costing me money, right? It's like fiscally responsible. I'm being fiscally responsible saying, hey guys, I'm gonna bring you this event virtually. I know a lot of you can't be there. I know you can't, and that sucks. and you can't make it there for whatever reasons, but you're all interested, right? Y'all want to be at the Moneymaker Live event. And so I went back and forth on it a lot. And finally I was like, all right, get a quote. Get a quote, contact AV, audiovisual, find out how much it's going to cost to take this event virtual so we could do a hybrid. So we got the quote, we figured it out. Did I get that right? Moneymakerlive.com. Yeah. So we are doing a hybrid, virtual, and in-person event. Yes, being in person is so much freaking fun, and you should be there in person if you can do that. But if you can't do that, we are offering that virtual ticket. So just to give you a heads up on the virtual ticket, with that, you're immediately going to get access to the Moneymaker Live Facebook group. On the days of the event, what you will get is you'll be dropped into a Facebook Messenger chat, so you know what's going on at all times. You know when every session starts, so you don't miss anything. And then the third thing, everything will be streamed through Zoom, and you're going to have like a designated person who's going to, we believe that's going to be Allie right now, who's basically going to concierge you guys, make sure you're taken care of. What's the cutoff for the virtual tickets? I honestly don't know. We're probably going to sell them like up to the week before, I would say, but I wouldn't wait, mostly because we're deciding how much money we can put into the virtual aspects, and it depends on the turnout. So, Heather, even if you grabbed your virtual ticket and grabbed it now and then decided later that you wanted to do something different, you could just let us know. Okay, and then so second thing, if this meeting was helpful for you, please go into my group and say that. Or you could do it on your personal page or whatever. Just do a shout out to the Moneymaker meetings with Alyssa J. Dillon, because hey, why not? We're here to support you guys, but I'm always open for more people that you think should be here, your friends, your fellow business owners that should be in this room, that should continue to learn and have the same knowledge. Feel free to write us a testimonial, something hopefully positive, but if you have any negative feedback, feel free to come to me, please. All right. Everybody good? Good stuff today? All righty. Next week should be good. We're going to talk about how you can, I think we're going to do like, what is it? I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know. I think it's like 2 to 3x your strategies to 2 to 3x your fees without making your clients mad. So that's what we're talking about next week. So you guys want to be on next week? I'll see you next week. Bye guys. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all later.